Welcome to the station crew. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, this will be a somewhat in-depth guide on how to do one of the more, if not the most, complex jobs in Space Station 14, the Atmospheric Technician. I'll be covering all that I know in this video. If I missed anything, or if there's something you want me to cover in greater detail, please put it in the comment section down below. I will try to read all of them. Anyway, let's begin. Most stations you will spawn in front of Atmospheric Technician Locker. I'm going to open that up. Inside has the firefighting door remote. Functions as any other door remote. You can open and close doors. You can lock doors. You can toggle emergency access. Typical remote stuff. Holofan projector creates a holographic barrier that prevents atmospheric gases from passing through it. We also have the oxygen deprivation kit. This is mostly for medical use. Most techs don't do this, just report to medical. Gas analyzer. The gas analyzer will show the gases that are in the current room where you're standing, or if you click on a pipe, it will show you the gases inside said pipe. Put that in the bag to use later. Also inside we have the atmospheric gas mask. It functions almost exactly the same as a gas mask, except that it has an extra 20 heat reduction. And the Atmos fire suit. The Atmos fire suit, it's a better version of the fire suit you find elsewhere on the station. Minor slash reduction, but major heat and cold reductions. Also only decreases your movement speed by 20%. The Atmos helmet, a retextured version of any other fire helmet you might find throughout the rest of the station. So first thing you want to do when getting on station is turn on distribution. They're usually marked by blue pipes. You just turn it on. Simplest thing, you want to turn it on if the mixer is not already set up. You just find nitrogen and oxygen, turn those pumps on, turn this on, make sure that the primary port here, which is connected to nitrogen, is 78%, and whatever port you're connecting the oxygen to is set to 22%, or something similar to that. And distro is operational. Next, you want to turn on the waste gases marked by red. This will vent any waste gases outside into the vacuum of space so that people aren't dying from carbon dioxide poisoning or nitrous oxide poisoning. Reptilians, humans, and moths all inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, whilst slimes will inhale nitrogen and exhale nitrous oxide, which puts people to sleep. Also in this room, we have the suit storage unit containing the atmospheric hard suit. The atmospheric hard suit has, examine it here, protects from hazardous pressure environments. It will make you immune to pressure damage. It'll save you if you You want to wear this before flinging yourself out into space. Has minor protection against all damage types. Major protection against heat damage. A 50% radiation, 50% caustic, and 50% explosive. With this, plus an oxygen tank, you can put that on your back slot. And a gas mask. You're ready to combat any spacings you might find on the station. For example, that one. As you can see, the evidence of spacing, ripped up tiles. The fire locks should engage soon, once the pressure is low enough. But you want, if there's any ripped up tiles, fire locks enabled, preventing you from entering a room. Usually means a hazardous gas. You'll also see air alarms blinking. Very, very many sounds of air rushing through. Lots of sounds can indicate spacing has happened. You want to make sure your helmet is on, your gas mask is up, oxygen on, and you want to put a hollow fan in front of the door to make sure that this hallway that you entered from or other room that you entered from does not get spaced as well. You can see explosion ripped up a tile, exposing the lattice underneath. If the explosion is bad enough where there is no lattice, you simply take a metal rod, put it down on the empty space, it'll create a lattice, and you can either use steel or a tile to cover the lattice. This will plug up the hole and prevent any further spacing from continuing. When a room is spaced, there is, a severe lack of pressure in here. Normal pressure is 101 kPa. This is half that. It's slowly rising because the air vent is pumping more air into the room to try to counteract the spacing. If there is no atmosphere whatsoever, air vents will not pump any extra air into the room, and you'll need to add a little bit extra to basically jumpstart the air vents into working again. The most common way to do this is to just open up to an adjacent room that already has air in it, and the air will rush through the door into the room, kickstarting the air vent. Another way to kickstart the air vent is unwrenching it. You can, if you find an air vent, pull up the tile underneath it and unwrench it. Any gas that was contained within the piping of the air vent will be released into the room. That might, depending on how pressurized distribution is, will jumpstart the air vent with enough air for it to begin filling the room on its own. Something else you might encounter whilst on the station are hazardous gases. For example, this purple wavy gas is called miasma. It's produced from dead bodies. When a dead body is sat there for too long, whether human or animal, alien, what have you, it produces miasma. In this example, someone has murdered the cow in hydroponics, and it's really stunk up the place. The telltale signs of miasma, even if you cannot see it, if you cannot see the purple gas, is something smells funny. I forget exactly what the text is. But when you find a room with hazardous gases in it, whether it be tritium, plasma, CO2, nitrous oxide, not all gases are visible. CO2 and nitrous oxide are invisible. You want to put down your fire lock, Open up the door. Normally you'd want to put on your internals, like so. There we go. Something smells foul. That's what I was going for. Miasma smells foul. Now, normally the air scrubbers are automatically trying to remove the miasma from the air. They're controlled by the air alarm. If it already has not been enabled, you'll require to turn on filtering wide. Otherwise, regular filtering will only remove hazardous gases from the tile that the scrubber is on. If you swap it to wide, it will remove all hazardous gases on any adjacent tiles as well, removing a larger area of miasma. This room is almost clear of miasma, but if it wasn't, and you need extra help, you can bring in a portable scrubber. Portable scrubber can be placed anywhere. It needs to be wrenched, and will turn on and start filtering exactly like a scrubber on wide setting. It'll filter anything on the tile that it's on or the adjacent tiles, filling up its internal volume. When the internal volume is filled, you will need to anchor it to a connector, a canister connector port, usually where you find them, to dump the gases inside the portable scrubber into the waste network. Once you can use our gas analyzer to see the miasma is nearly gone. It's down to safe levels. You're no longer going to die from miasma poisoning, is the important part. You take the portable scrubber back to atmospherics. In case it wasn't already clear, you put the scrubber on top of a connector port. This is where they are on the station. You wrench it down, and you'll see that its internal pressure has been emptied. Air alarms have 5 distinct settings: none, filtering, filtering wide, fail, and panic. I already went over filtering, which will filter out any hazardous gases on the tile the scrubber is on. Filtering wide, which will expand it to any adjacent tiles. Fill mode actually turns off any scrubbers and will turn the air injector, the air vent, it'll try to fill with as much gas as it possibly can, potentially overpressurizing the room. Panic does the exact opposite. All of the scrubbers will try to suck all of the gases and try to vacuum the room. I've moved back to atmospherics to show air alarms a bit more in depth. Already gone over the 5 modes of the air alarm: off, filtering, filtering wide, fail, and panic. But if you need to make a new air alarm, how would you go about doing that? Well, air alarms are the things that control these 4 components. They control air vents, air sensors, air scrubbers, and fire locks. In order to connect these, you would take a multi-tool or network configuration tool. Simply click on each device. It will say successfully saved device with the address and address. Click on each device, then simply click on the air alarm. This will show the device configuration menu. To add the devices you have saved, simply click Add. This will add the 3 fire locks, the air scrubber, the air sensor, and the air vent to show what devices are connected to what air alarm, you can also hit the show button. It'll draw white lines to all of the connected devices. You can also hit the red clear to clear all of the devices on the list, or you can hit copy to copy all of the devices on this list if you wanted to, for example, clone it to another air alarm. Air alarms can also be hacked. If, for example, I lost my atmospheric ID, I would not be able to change anything about this air alarm. But if you use a screwdriver, you can pop open the maintenance panel and using a wire cutter, snip the wires. You have panic, which will enable panic siphon on any scrubbers. You have power, which powers the air alarm. You have access, which will remove the need for atmospheric access to use the air alarm, and a dud wire. The only wire that requires insulated gloves is the power wire. All other wires can be snipped safely without fear of shock. Put away the wire cutter, close up that panel, and now my ID is still on the ground. I can now change the filtering mode of the air alarm and anything else. Let's go through these tabs here. The vents tab will show any and all vents that are connected to the air alarm. With this, you can set the direction, whether it is going to inject air into the environment, siphon air out of the environment, and to not show what pressure bound does. External bound is basically what it's going to try to set the pressure of the room to. So if you wanted to over pressurize or under pressurize a room, you would change this setting right here. Internal bound is if you have it on siphoning. This is how much it would intake. You also have the copy settings to similar devices. It will copy the settings of this vent to every other vent in the air alarm. If I had multiple, pressing this would copy them to all of them instead of having to individually change each and every vent. Scrubbers, you can set it to siphon, panic siphon, or scrub. Wide net, it would be the filtering wide, manually setting filtering wide. You turn them on or off. Set the transfer rate. Transfer rate maximum is 200 liters. I think that's liters. And most importantly, the gas filters. This dictates what gases the scrubber will remove from the room. You could have it remove oxygen, have it not remove freon, have it not remove water vapor. If you wanted to make the station a sauna, disabling water vapor on all the scrubbers would be a good way to do it. And lastly, sensors. Every single one of these has a sensor. Air vents have sensors, air sensors are a sensor, and air scrubbers have a sensor. Sensors dictate how the air alarm is to function. I open up the sensor here. You have pressure, temperature, and gases. Green text means everything is A-OK. If there is a single bit of yellow text, so that would set it to warning, and red is danger. We can configure when it's set to danger or warning here, or if you want to haven't had a danger warning at all. So, warning above. If the pressure is above 385 kPa, it will warn, which means the light on the air alarm will turn yellow. Warning below, if pressure is below 50, warning is enabled. If pressure is below 20, danger is enabled, which will close fire locks and require a crowbar to open them. It will also change the scrubbers from filtering to filtering wide if it is on warning or danger. You can adjust these thresholds. So if I wanted it to set danger, if it is dangerous if the pressure is below 200. This will immediately set it into danger mode, closing the fire locks and engaging wide filtering in the room. It'll close any linked fire locks, set any linked scrubbers to wide, to try to remove the dangerous pressure. If you have warning below the danger threshold, the warning will automatically bump up to meet the danger threshold. If I was to change the warning to 250, you confirm by pressing enter. 250, it will stay there, but the danger will not change. Because you cannot have it be at danger and then be at warning. Danger precedes warning, warning precedes green. Drop this back down to 20. And since the warning is still at 250, the airlocks will open the fire locks will open because it's no longer dangerous. Filtering is set back to normal, but the air alarm will flash yellow.